Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This first is called the core curriculum. What did you learn in school today, my darling little daughter? She closed her book and raised her head and answered like a scholar. Of presidents and precedents, of numbers and of kings. I learned of bumblebees and rings in trees and grand and curious things. I learned of shooting stars, no life on Mars, of Einstein and of Darwin, of Dickens, death, drugs, despair, and one of Shakespeare's sonnets. I learned to count, but not too far, to answer every question, to raise my hand to wait my turn, to smile and be attentive, to take hard tests and grub for grades, to doubt my intuition, to shut my mouth and never speak without someone's permission, to sit so still and wait until a bell would send me flying away from school to some safe place where no adults were spying. I see, my girl, you've studied well and learned your lessons fully, to be content, to keep your place, and never be unruly. So off you go to college now. A bright future awaits you. But just remember what you learned, to bend, or they will break you. And I should apologize for all the college students here for that, but it often seems that way. How many of you know who Toto was? Toto? Show of hands for Toto. The dog? Not the band, the dog.
I know the dog.
This is Ode to Toto. Ah, Toto. If only we could live up to your example of honesty and doubt and demand for full disclosure. If only we could bark and yip and pull away the curtain of phony authority that steals away our brains, our courage, and our hearts. If only we could own our own personal Toto, our own Karen Terrier within, our own internal tail-wagging bitch of our innocent scruffy skin and nappy-coated coats. To show the Dorothys of the world, our wagging tails and twitchy paroxysms of joy and eager desire to show and share and tell. Toto, a canine Socrates, impatient with fraud, a cant chaser and truth teller, barking out warnings to gullible munchkins, obedient travelers from Calcutta to Kansas, gullible travelers down the yellow brick road of obedience, passivity, and cowardly, brainless, heartless compliance. Ah, Toto. I've been working on a collection that I call the Menstrual Odyssey. It is about the male experience with that encounter, what I call the menstrual transaction. And these are a couple of pieces on that theme. The first is called Punctuation. He heard her say, "I got my period." What did she mean? She has her own punctuation mark? What was she at the end of a sentence? What was she sentenced for? Had she been bad? What was her crime? How long was the sentence? Had she been pardoned or served her time? Did she receive a string of words? And were they over? Had she also gotten commas, clauses, and many modifiers? Would she also get an exclamation and a question mark? And what would she get next? A capital letter? The beginning of another sentence? And how long would that one be? Would it too end with a period? Would she continue to get them until the end of the paragraph, the end of her chapter, the end of her book? She said she got her period. Was it the end of something? The sign to pause, to take a breath? That something is over, complete? Some thought, opinion, assertion, statement of fact? Or does it mean that something new is coming? A large capital that promises movement forward into a string of subjects, verbs, and unseen modifiers, unseen meanings, leading to yet another period, and another, and another, and another, and another, until She finally runs out of periods and has to stop. This poem takes place 7,000 years ago on Wednesday. Returning to the cave, arm gashed by claw of tiger, back scarred by spear of foe, noting first the scent, then adjusting to the dark, the small red spots across the rubble, and then the rivulets down her leg, dried in the hair of her calf, glistening maroon, reflecting dimly the light of the smoldering fire. Blood! Blood! Touching his club and bending to grasp a stone, his eyes dart and nostrils flare to find the intruder that had caused this flow, the foreign beast standing or crawling on 2 legs or 4 that had drawn life's fluid from his cave mate's groin. No sound of scurrying feet or padded paw, no smell of body or of musky pelt, no furtive move or change of shadows' shapes while she, fresh fluid flowing still, detecting his concern, bared her teeth and lowered eyes in gestures of welcome and ease. Hair still on end, nostrils twitching, breath coming short, club slowly lowered and rock dropped to the floor, he neared her by the fire, knelt to sniff the odor, and reached to touch the matted nest of hair. Pulling back his red-smeared fingers, he held them to his nose, touched them to his tongue, stared at the thick crimson, familiar and yet strange. It did not clot and close the wound, but seemed to make it pout with berry-colored ripeness, unlike his, that oft turned yellow and seeped foul stench. Nor did she seem to ache, or fear a loss, the kind of ebb that brought down antlered giant, snarling beast, or timid runner in the brush, the kind of ebb that slowed the pace, or brought to end the holder of the spear, the builder of the fire, the hunter of all prey. In unaccustomed calm, they huddled near the fire. Their hairy shoulders touched. Their gnarled fingers felt each other's grasp. Blood dried, but mysteries remained. Finally, this is the same guy yesterday. It's called The Expedition. Entering the center aisle, past diapers, lubrications, and suppositories, past ointments, stimulants, and salves, the path, paved with tan tiles, illuminated by a flat fluorescent glow, he set out on his quest. Rising from canyons on both sides were ranks of guardians, clad in blues, yellows, pinks, and greens. A gathering of righteous heroines, the ex-women from the land of Menses. Here was Sister Ultrathin, ready to spread her winged protection. At her side was Multipack, prepared for any mishap. The cousins, Leak Guard and Odorlock, along with Maxie Fresh, patrolled the shelves with diligence and ranked atop the parapet, alert to any unexpected breakthrough in padded armor and patented weave, the shock troops of the force. Heavy Flow, Maxie, Super, and her daughter, Super Plus. All united in the cause of confidence, secrecy, and athletic prowess, promise of protection of a safety net, of social security greater than any mere monthly government check could possibly provide. Drawing a breath, he ventured forth. No Lancelot in search of Grail, no paladin on trek to Holy Land, no hobbit sent by wizard to retrieve a ring. His charge, the list he clutched made clear, to seek a jewel, but not just any precious gem. He sought the magic pearl encased in plastic sheath. Glancing to right and left, avoiding the gaze of curious pushers of squeaky carts, he sights the radiant glow, her promise of protection, her flowing Leak Guard braid, her guarantee of gentle, quiet assurance despite the threat of ancient foe, Mother Nature's rude intrusions. Gently, he lifts her from the shelf. Placing the blue box at the bottom of the basket, neath hair gel, soap, and sundries, he heads for the welcoming world of pain relievers, cough suppressants, vitamins, mouthwash, and candles.